joining us for a new edition of France in Focus. I'm Nadia Charby, and this week we delve into the issue of disability. In 2005, French legislators gave the country 10 years to make all public places and transport accessible to disabled users. But faced with little progress, that deadline has been extended by 3 to 9 years. Currently, just 30% of infrastructures are considered disability friendly. Well, let's take a look at the extent and effects of this ongoing segregation.
Two steep slopes and cobbled streets.
These things are a real pain in the butt.
In a wheelchair, everyday life becomes an obstacle course. Franck May is from France's Association of Disabled People. It's his job to check accessibility in public places. With the help of his spirit level, he measures the slope of the path leading to the town hall of his Paris suburb. Result, 13%.
That's too steep, of course. No one can get up that. And it's not standard either.
What's standard?
The standard is 4%.
If public spaces are not up to scratch, neither are many businesses. Something that retired hospital worker Alain Msalem is well accustomed to.
Hello, ma'am. How should I do this? Do you have a ramp?
No, my colleague will help you.
It's 80 kilos, you know.
A step prevents him from entering the restaurant by himself.
I just want to be independent. Is anyone helping you? No. Well, then I want to be able to go into a restaurant, at a cinema, everywhere by myself without help.
Everyday tasks are an ordeal. Franck can't recover his card or cash from the ATM, thanks to new machines that break the disability law.
It's a new system for security to prevent people behind you from stealing your card. So they certainly won't be able to take your card, but neither will you.
As for transport, there may have been progress on the buses, now all equipped with ramps, but most subway stations remain inaccessible. It's a luxury to be able to get around easily. For this very reason, this is Alain's favorite restaurant.
I'm really at home here. The aisles are wide enough.
Aisles, toilets. Everything was refurbished 3 years ago, making this one of the rare establishments in the area entirely accessible to disabled people. Some progress, but more than 10 years after the law was introduced, nearly 50% of disabled people don't think daily life has gotten easier.
Well, on top of those practical challenges come a number of social obstacles. And one man who's working to make France sit up and pay attention to its disabled citizens is Gregory Curran, who first came into the public eye as a candidate on the popular TV show Top Chef, and now hosts his own cooking programs and heads the 5 Mains or 5 Hand restaurant in Lyon with 2 associates. Gregory Curran, hello.
Hello.
And now, with the famously food-obsessed French, is it easier for a chef to talk about disability?
I'm not sure. What is interesting in my job is that it's handcraft, and handcraft without one hand is something like a kind of model for disabled people.
There's this feeling and this idea in France and elsewhere that handicap, a disability is something that you have to fight, that you have to overcome. Doesn't that rather put the issue of disability into a negative light?
It's a little bit like that. In my opinion, disability is not that. It's people that are adapting themselves to different problems.
And is there perhaps a sense that the issue isn't so much the disability in itself as it is the social obstacles that you have to handle when you are disabled and trying to get along with a normal life in French society?
That is the problem, because you have to fight to show that you are able to make some interesting things and that you can be a good part of the society. I think stuff are changing, but it's not. It's so for now, and we're hoping it's going to be better in the future.
Now, access to the job market is especially an issue because there is an economic discrimination towards the disabled. How can one change that particular problem here in France?
I'm not very fine with affirmative action, you know, but I think that it's when we're going to change the minds of the whole society, that it will be easier for disabled people to access to the job, because in my opinion there are some parts of the whole part of the society and they have the right to work, to have some activities, I mean social activities, and to do some sports. That's important.
And do you feel that the progress on these issues is too slow here?
In the Anglo-Saxon society, the people are the same part of a wall, and I think that that's very important for the French society to accept that different people are not bad people, you know.
Well, as you were saying, there's two issues. There's the state and how the state is helping handle the social obstacles and the practical obstacles, financial obstacles. And then there's the way society views disability. Do you feel, from your position in the spotlight, is there a change on that particular issue, on how people in the street view disability?
Sure. You know, I'm doing that job since 5 years, and in 5 years I've seen the evolution of the society, and it's easier now. It's not easier in my opinion, but it's easier for disabled people, you know, to be a part of that society.
Gregory Curran, thank you very much for having spoken to us.
You're very welcome.
Well, for further proof that disability isn't an obstacle in itself, look no further than the men and women taking part in high-level sporting competitions such as the Paralympics. French swimmer Theo Han is one such athlete. Here's his story.
Diving into childhood memories.
I looked like a small kid here, with my chubby little head.
Theo had his limbs amputated after being struck with meningitis when he was just 6 years old.
Just thinking about it, when I started here, I couldn't swim the butterfly stroke.
At only 16, Theo has a bright future ahead of him. 7 a.m, Vichy, central France. Theo trains here every day for several hours a day, even when it's early and it's only 2 degrees outside.
Now his dream is finally within reach. He's got his mind set on Rio, but he doesn't really talk about it.
Every second counts as Theo prepares to compete with athletes from around the world.
The Paralympic Games are a dream for me. I can see myself in the grand final. I think about it all the time, even in class.
Everyday life can be a challenge for Theo, from opening doors to brushing his hair.
I don't really need help anymore. I still need a hand when I put my prosthetic legs on, but I can handle things pretty well by myself.
Theo makes sure he's in great shape. He works out 4 times a week to build muscle. Theo picked up swimming 2 years ago, and he's already a star in the Paralympic world. He's outfitted by a famous sports brand, and he's also a spokesperson for an association of French amputees. Theo knows he can count on the support of his family. His father says he's incredibly proud.
10 years ago, he got very sick. I remember calling the ambulance. Now I see him swim. He's doing so much better. It's unbelievable.
Theo is one of 6 Paralympian swimmers representing France in Rio this year. His eyes are set on the podium. He hopes to bring back gold in the 200-metre freestyle.
While also helping to put the spotlight on disability are a number of French films, among them comedy hits The Bélier Family and Intouchable, with that last one briefly delving into a sensitive issue, sex. And while other countries have taken head-on the question of sexual assistance for people with complex disabilities, here in France it's still a major taboo, one that this couple is hoping to break.
Theirs is a love story like no other. Meet 31-year-old Jill and her husband Marcel, who is 30 years her senior and severely disabled. Far from distractions in this quiet Alsace town, the couple lead a peaceful life.
Quand j'ai rencontré Marcel, je suis tombée amoureuse de lui et de son handicap. Si je prends Marcel, je prends aussi la vie qui va avec. On aime jouir de la vie, vraiment, et dans tous les sens du terme.
Before she met her husband, Jill was a prostitute. One day, Marcel contacted her in search of a sex surrogate for a disabled friend. It was the first request of its kind that Jill had received, one she'd never had to consider before.
Moi, je suis valide dans un monde de valides et j'ai absolument pas... Enfin, jusqu'alors, j'avais absolument pas conscience et connaissance de... Enfin, surtout conscience de ce que pouvait être la non-sexualité, la non-sensualité d'une personne qui est enfermée dans son corps, finalement. Qui peut pas manger seule, s'habiller, se déshabiller seule, et qui peut pas non plus se masturber seule.
Today, the couple is fighting to break the taboo of sexual assistance. They founded their own company, APAS, which trains sex surrogates to help disabled people explore their sexuality.
Les expériences que j'ai eues avec les escort girls ont été des fiascos. Elles étaient démunies devant le handicap. Et à tel point que j'en ai rencontré une qui, en me voyant, est repartie quasiment en courant.
Il y a un temps d'écoute des deux côtés, hein. Mais il faut avoir de réelles capacités, de réelles compétences d'écoute. Savoir se mettre déjà avant tout à l'écoute de soi, mais à l'écoute de l'autre.
A sex surrogate costs around €150 an hour. Sexual assistance is still not legal in France, and the practice is frowned upon by many people. Still, the organisation has received almost 400 matchmaking requests in the past 2 years.
Il y a quand même une majorité de personnes qui a envie de passer un moment nu contre le corps d'une autre personne, homme ou femme, nu. J'ai jamais connu ça, j'aimerais connaître ce que c'est que d'être nus, enlacés l'un contre l'autre pendant un certain temps.
Le but de l'accompagnement sexuel, c'est de valoriser ces personnes. C'est de redonner du sens. On peut avoir un handicap et avoir du désir, du plaisir. Essaye de leur apporter une certaine forme de normalité.
They may not have much longer to wait. Sexual assistance has been legalised in Germany, Switzerland, the Netherlands and Belgium, and countless disabled people are already reaping the benefits.
Well, so we're leaving this edition. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned to France 24.